All right, let's go in the weeds right now and hit the Atlanta Braves because it's the gift that keeps on giving. They finally lost a game yesterday to wipe away a losing skid. But of course, they show up, they rep me for my lock, and it's the first inning damage that we actually covered. There it is. In the weeds, shall we? It's not hard to find the Atlanta Braves offense early on in games. You just talked about it yesterday, AJ. Acuna sets the tone in the first. This team is a force in the first, so much so that it's like they can almost kind of take their foot off the pedal the rest of the game sometimes. Like they did most of their damage in the opening inning yesterday. You're watching, I mean, I was watching that game, obviously. I was invested financially in that game. And I'm like, cool, game's over in the first freaking inning. Because number one, I'm like, they're probably going to score more. They're good on the run prevention side. Soroka was great, by the way. So it looks like he's figured some shit out. And then Cleveland obviously is not the juggernaut offensive ball club. So Sarah Lang's setting us up with Braves first inning action here. 91 runs, most of any team in any inning. 29 homers in the first, 128 hits in the first. So not only are they the best first inning team, but the first inning production that they have is better than any team's any other inning.
They come out swinging. It starts with Acuna. We mentioned it yesterday. Acuna comes out and he can make it 1-0, and pitchers are afraid from the jump. And then you got Olson, and then you got all these guys just lined up. It's like boom, boom, boom. Murphy and Riley and Rosario and Darno, if he's playing instead of Murphy. It is just like all bees. I mean, then you get down to Michael Harris, who's hitting ninth. It's an incredible lineup, what they've done and how they've been able to put this thing together and how it just works. But it starts with the guy at the top. It starts with Ronald Acuna Jr. because he puts the fear of God into pitchers the first pitch of the game on. And it's because he can make it 1-0. And if he doesn't hit a home run, he gets on base. I think I don't know exactly what his on base is. It's well over 400 in the first inning, though. So think about it. 2 out of 5 games, he's on first, chance to steal second, chance to steal third. That puts Olson in advantage. It puts Murphy in advantage. It puts Riley at advantage. But Albies in an advantage. It is incredible what Ronald Acuna means to this team.
He's 414 on the season with his.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. In the first inning, though, I think it's even higher.
It might be. I think at one point it was in the 5s. I don't know if it still is, but I mean, he's on base half the time to start a game.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible. And then it just trickles down to everybody else. So it's about him. It's about the team. But at the end of the day, it's really about Ronald Acuna, because if you put, let's say, Ozzie Albies at the top or Michael Harris at the top, it changes the dynamic of their team. So he is very important to the first inning. And pitchers go out there. Trust me, as a catcher, I saw it, man. You're scared to death if that first guy can go deep. Kyle Schwarber, he's not a typical leadoff guy, but the difference is Acuna can not only go deep, if he does get on first, guess what he can do? He can steal second, steal third, and it's 1-0 before you blink.
They are out homering Cleveland on the season. How much do you think the discrepancy is? Like how many homers? We're halfway through the season, okay? How many more homers do you think the Braves have than the Guardians? No, trivia question. Give me a guess. It's sizable.
I'll say 80.
AJ?
Well, they had more homers in June than the Guardians had on the whole year, so this is kind of cheating for me. But they have 80 is about right.
110. It's 166 to 56.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. They hit 61 in June. They hit 61 in June. The Guardians had 54 at the end of June total for the year. Most homers, I think, in a month in forever. So the Braves just mash. The best stat is, what is it, over 30% of the time they hit 3 homers in a game. They're just offense is crazy. And you play in that park?
Is there anything you can do against the Braves to open up a game to slow them down, aside from, I mean, you don't want to hit Ronald, which is the Marlins thing sometimes, and they'll pitch him inside. But can you do anything? Like if they're I would say like aggressive first inning, yes, but it's controlled aggression. Like they're taking walks. They're filling up the bases in the first. These are often 2-3 run homers in the first. So it's not like, oh, they're over aggressive in the first, get them to chase. Like what are you doing as a catcher to game plan against them if you're catching your 5th starter and you're taking on Atlanta?
You hope. You just hope he hits a ball at somebody. You hope he pops up. You hope. There's really nothing you can do. You have to pitch your game, but the problem is with Acuna, the first pitch you have to be so fine, and then that leads to walks, right? Or it leads them getting hit by pitches. So it's just you just hope and pray. There again, because it's not just him. Yes, he's the guy, he's the spark plug, But I mean, then you get to Olson who can make it quick, and then you get to Riley, and then you get to Darno or Murphy, and then you get to Rosario. It's nonstop, and that's why the Braves have been so good for the last few years, is because their offense is deep. And in the first inning, gosh, if you get through the first inning, most pitchers are like, "Ooh, I can relax." Oh wait, look who's coming up 4, 5, 6 for these guys. It's crazy.
Hold on though. Hold on. I'm gonna need more than that. Like I'm the fifth starter, okay? For the whatever, the Cleveland Guardians. You're catching me. And the last combo we have, like we went over the game plan already. Last combo we have before we take the field. Don't tell me, well, let's hope because their lineup's really long and we're fucked because I'm not feeling good heading to the
Well,
mound. You got to give me more than that.
I mean, you just try to give them confidence. You just try to, but now you don't tell them that. But in your mind, you're like, man, how are we going to get through this lineup more than one time with this guy? And it's tough. There are times, trust me, as a catcher, where you're literally behind the plate going, please God, let this ball stay in the park when you let it go. But yeah, you just give them the most confidence you can. You say, all right, this pitch matches up. Your slider matches up really well, and if you throw a sinker in, he can't really do anything with it. But in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, but if he misses with that pitch by an inch or two, it's going out into the bleachers up there in Truist.
Some people are like, it's gonna be hard to see any other team taking down the Braves. My only thing is just being around the game for a while and observing teams that get this freaking hot. First off, they're gonna have a little bit of a cold streak at some point. They're not gonna go, the rest of the season without losing 2 games in a row or something. But at the same time, I wonder, if they catch a hot team in the playoffs and suddenly what does that look like? I mean, it happened last year and I know it was different. Acuna wasn't the same. Strider wasn't the same. They lost that series to Philadelphia, but you look at some other teams, they have lineups, I mean, Philadelphia is one of them.